get your pencil or pen and paper out, because we're going to give you what are the top 5 TTPs that you should use when you are trying to find a job. And TTPs, what are those? Well, remember, that's the tactics, techniques, and procedures, using a military term that you will not use with your employer, by the way. So what are some of the top 5 TTPs? All right, so the first one, and if you followed and done the homework that was given to you in the previous episodes, you know you got your value proposition, you got your story, you got your resume. And although we didn't really talk about it, you're going to use LinkedIn to also put your resume on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so starting with some social media there as well. So that's going to be your first TTP, is make sure you check the block, you got your value proposition, you got your story, you got your resume, and then you also, by the way, have posted it on LinkedIn. Veterans get a free premium account, okay, for I think 1 year. It's free for a regular account forever, but a premium account allows you to see who sees your stuff. And I definitely recommend it. Now, it's only one-time shot, so use it, and it's timed, so 1 year free. And you don't have to put a credit card in or anything like that. That's always important too. So, but LinkedIn is definitely something to consider. Second TTP, make sure that you've got your lever exercise all done. In other words, you know where you want to work, location, location, location. You know the kind of work that you want to do. You want to know about vacation time, benefits. You've negotiated it and discussed it with your spouse if you happen to have one. And you've also got a good idea about the kind of work you'd like to pursue. Okay? So that's important. You got to have that step done. The next one, network, network, network. And you go, oh crap, I hate networking. Let's change the word from networking to talk to people. Talk to people. Because that is where 98% of the jobs are, is by talking with people, talking with friends, talking to friends of friends, going on the internet and finding someone from LinkedIn who works at a company who's also a veteran. There's so many ways you can do this. Look at it like you're mining for gold. And it's in there, you just have to find it by asking the right question of LinkedIn or of Google. The fourth one, and this is important, referrals. Referrals. You have friends, you have family, you have, remember that idea of using the mentors? Follow up on the easy ones first for other people that you should speak with about referrals. Remember, you're not alone, right? So look at by Googling, by talking to your friends, by talking to, again, parents, friends of your parents, friends of your spouse, friends of your significant other. You're going to get a lot of people that you can talk to start your job search. The fifth one, don't forget about the search buddies. Your job search buddies, have at least one. 2's better, 3's even great, okay? And then I've got a freebie of a sixth one for you here, is Google top 10 best ways to find a job as a veteran. Top 10 ways to find a job as a veteran. You'll be amazed at the top 10 lists you're going to get. Now, don't read them all in detail, just kind of go through them and peruse them, and there'll be some wonderful ideas about job search capabilities and resources for you as a veteran that you don't even know they were even there. And there are many, many, many. So do those 5+1 things, and that's going to help launch you on this first step of actually getting out there and looking for real opportunities. Networking with a purpose means that you're trying to not just talk to people. You're not just going to go to a job fair, for example, if you live near a metropolitan city, just to go talk to people. You want to talk with a purpose, network with a purpose, to learn more about a field, to learn more about employers in that field, to learn more about what are the kinds of jobs that might be available What are the ones that are high demand? What are the requirements for the job? Who else should I speak with? So in other words, just like whenever you're trying to say, if you're going on a mission while you're still in the military, you want to know what's out in front of you. You want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. Same thing for job searching. You want to know the questions that you should be asking before you go into that networking discussion or that environment of having the conversation. So networking with no purpose is just, hey, how's the weather? What's going on? I'm looking for a job, just got out of the military. Yeah, I don't exactly know where I'm going or what I'm going to do. No, networking with purpose. What are the questions you want to ask each person that you speak with? And remember, you can do that with a friend, you can do it with a parent. And I encourage you to practice that. Now, there's 2 rules I want to give you. Rule number 1, never ask the question, do you have a job for me? Don't ask that question. Because if they have a job for you, they're going to say, you know, I got a potential idea here I want to talk to you about. Never ask the question. Even though you're tempted, do you have a job for me? Or do you know of anybody who has a job for me? Don't do that. Say, here, do it in reverse. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'd love to just expand the people I talk with until I find that right opportunity. Now, someone might say, well, you know, so-and-so is hiring. You should go talk to them. Cool. That's great. Thank you so much for that. You know, can you make a phone call for me, or can you do an e-introduction for me to introduce me to that person? Because remember, people are always willing to talk to people who they've been introduced to, rather than a cold call. So always use that person. Even if it's just a friend of a friend, that's good enough. Now, rule number 2. So rule number 1, never say, do you have a job for me? Rule number 2, before you wrap up your conversation, say, who else do you think I should talk with? Who else do you think I should talk with to continue my job search? Can you suggest 1 or 2 people, friends of yours, that perhaps I should speak with? So rule number 2 is, just like I said, never ask that other question. This one is always ask this question. Who else should I speak with? And then you're going to get 1 or 2 names, and then you say, would you mind sending an e-introduction for me? Or maybe just giving them a call or a text or, you know, whatever, that, hey, spend some time with Randy. He'd like to reach out to you and just have a conversation as he's continuing his job search here in Alexandria or in wherever you live. So those are 2 very important things. Now, the last thing I want to offer you about how to network with a purpose is, remember how I said prepare your questions? Don't just go randomly having a conversation. Practice, practice, practice. If you're not sure the questions to ask, again, just turn to Google. Google, top 10 questions to ask while networking. Again, top 10 questions to ask during networking. And you're going to find questions like, what do you like about your field? What do you like about that company? What do you not like about the company? If you had it to do all over again, what would you do differently? Remember, you're only trying to create conversation, and you're trying to learn. And for many of us, this is hard. Because in the military, just give me the facts. If you're not naturally outward, go ahead and Google top 10 questions to ask during a networking engagement, and that will help you to get started, at least to get you warmed up. And then you will take over naturally, and it'll be a good conversation. Those 6 sites that you should use are LinkedIn, because that's where you're going to put your resume and your basic information and find out who's working where. Also, Indeed, I-N-D-E-E-D, ZipRecruiter, Monster, Career Builder, and Glassdoor. Now, there are specialized sites. For example, I'm going to make this up. If you were a Intel analyst, there's a site for those people. If you were if you have experience, for example, in IT, there's a site just for IT professionals. I'm not sending you in that direction, but you could look there. But these ones are the most common. And these are the ones that, if you look at those 6, you're going to, my goodness, you'll be kind of overwhelmed. Don't try to get on all 6, at least initially. Do 1 or 2 and explore it and see how it works, and be prepared for a lot of information. Now remember, the job search is a job. It's a job on its own. If you have a job to pay the bills, but you're trying to find that right job for you, then please understand this is going to take you a couple of hours every evening and on weekends. The amount of time you invest in it is going to also be equal to the amount of return you're going to get. However, I will tell you that the odds go up considerably with the more time that you invest. So please understand, the job search is a job unto itself. Even if it's a part-time job, because you're already employed in the military, or if you're employed trying to pay the bills. Very, very important point. Here's the good news and bad news. Unless you're going to be going into an artistic or a creative role, then all bets are off. You go with as flashy as you can, and it might not even be on paper, okay? It's important for other than a creative job or a artistic job, don't be flashy. Go with some standard things you feel comfortable with that are on the internet or that are otherwise available. The important thing is you can start with just Microsoft Word as examples. And so font size and all of that and the layout do not matter. In fact, the more simple it is, the better. And that's why I'm suggesting you start with Microsoft Word or Google examples of formats for resumes.